1% of everything.
Well, now it is about 2,000. So, no, it was about 12,000 at the height. There were a lot of people who voted for the British National Party at the European elections. We had Andrew Broad.
Elections, how many people voted?
Oh, we didn't have a candidate.
You didn't have any candidates?
No candidates.
Because you're also financially bankrupt, aren't you?
No, we're actually quite wealthy.
Really?
We're one of the few parties who are actually in the black.
What's your bank balance?
It's roughly we've got donations of about £2 million, but it might be considerably higher than that. A lot of
Are you
people.
joining forces with the Muslims? Fascists?
No, not at all.
Why have you got a
I've
fascist
got
book? Why
because
are you
I've read
holding
it.
a
Have you
fascist
read this book?
It's heavy going. I've read some of it. Yeah.
Right. Okay. What did you think of the Quran?
Of the what? The Quran? Oh, it's certificate 18. If even not bad.
Why do you feel that way?
Because I don't like Islam.
Well,
But I
I'm not against.
I equally don't like the BNP. So let's talk about the BNP show. Rather than Islam, should we talk about the BNP?
Yes,
Let's
okay.
scrutinise the BNP, shall we?
Absolutely. We've got a housing crisis in the United Kingdom. We've got 1.2 million people who are on the council waiting list. There are people who can't afford to buy their houses. There are people, for example, who can't afford the rent. We've got enough houses, but there's too many people in the world.
We've got enough houses.
We have, but there's too many people.
So what's the solution?
Right. Well, one of the solutions is
Too many people in the world.
absolutely. 3 years ago, 7 billion people were actually on this planet. There are more people alive today than have ever died. I repeat that, more people alive today than
what's
have
the
ever
answer?
died.
So what's the
And to
solution?
get over this in the UK is actually not to build on the greenbelt land, because greenbelt land should be protected. We might need that land for food.
Oh,
in
the
future.
BNP has suddenly
Allow
gone
me to
all
finish.
green.
And likewise, we
Don't
can't
build on the green
farmland.
belt. How
We
middle
can't build-
class?
One moment.
How middle
We
class
can't
of the BNP?
build on the farmland because we import most of our food. It's mad.
We mustn't
to
build on the
actually
green belt.
Building
You're
on the
wrong.
farmland.
You're
It's
wrong.
mad to
You're
build
wrong. We
on the
produce 60% of
floodplains,
our
for
food. We only,
example. They are there for flooding. They're not there to build houses. People can't get insurance. So our solution, one of our policies to answer your
Oh,
question.
you have policies?
Yes, we have lots of policies, is actually to put a freeze on all immigration. That's permanent settlement. So we'll sort out the housing crisis first, and then when we've sorted the crisis out, then we can look at it all over again. To you, sir.
Would it be easier if the government simply give massive tax incentives to house builders to build more housing? Because a lot of immigration is also good for the economy.
Well, I
Would that
agree
be a
with
better
you.
way of handling
But
it?
when you've got a large number of people, it's like if I invited everyone into my house in London.
Excuse me. Do you mind?
Socialist. Sir, that sounds like
No,
socialism.
please allow this gentleman to speak.
Was that a reasonable suggestion?
It's a temporary suggestion.
Why?
But what you have to do is to focus on the huge numbers. We've got over 65 million people on this island, and we can't have building on the greenbelt land and the
Why
farmland.
not? Why not?
Why?
Why can't we
How
build
are
on
we
the
going to feed
green belt?
ourselves?
Do you think the green belt is agricultural land?
We might
You
need it
serious?
for
Are you
agriculture.
serious?
Yes.
The whole of central Scotland is empty because the people were thrown off by you English.
We can't feed ourselves in this
Do you think it's
country.
more
We're not
efficient then,
self-sufficient.
instead of stopping immigration, to control it, to have those that immigrants coming where we need it more?
Well, let's sort the housing crisis out first.
And you might
I'm
need the
all right. I've
plumbers.
got a very small little place, but there's lots of people in London. Many of them are homeless. So let's sort the problem out
Many of
first,
them are not
and then look at it again.
Quran is the problem? Quran is the problem.
Well, I'll tell you about the Quran. I've read it twice. I've visited nearly every single major Muslim country in the world, and I'm not against Muslims in any way, shape, or form. But what I am
What about
against
black people?
is no problem at all. Any black person can join the British
You
National
had to
Party.
only because the
Any Asian
government only because the
person. Allow me to
government
finish,
forced
sir.
you to change the rules.
Any Asian
The government
person
forced you to
join
change the rules of the BNP,
They're
didn't
all
they?
white, actually.
You had to change the rule because the government was going to prescribe you. Well, because you had to change the law because you were a whites only
Yeah,
club.
you can join the BNP, mate.
You were a whites only club until the government forced you to change the
I
law.
want a
of
free
rules.
ticket back home, that's all.
Yeah, but that's business.
Every
You
summer.
can't say to the hotels, right, shut down your business.
Yeah.
That's not fair.
British
That's not
Airways.
reasonable.
Back to
What we
what
actually have to
people
do. Thank you, sir.
please.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. You've asked lots of questions, so I'm going to
Oh,
let
so
someone
I'm
else
banned now.
talk about the questions and
So
concerns.
what plans have you got to
as
put-
So
far
how many
as
black
Islam is
members, how many
concerned-
non-white members of the BNP have you got?
What happened to
Well,
Nick
what I can
Griffin?
say is, in 2005, Wazinder Singh,
quite a long
who was
time
a
ago.
Sikh, he actually appeared in our election broadcast.
So someone appeared in
And
an
a
election.
barking
Was
and
he a
dagging.
member?
One moment,
Was
you
he a
keep
member?
interrupting
Give him a
me.
chance.
I'll tell you about membership. There was a black gentleman who actually was a black African preacher, and he joined the British National Party. And he wasn't even living in this country. I've answered many of your
one
questions.
member and
What
one man
do
in a
you think of
video.
Enoch Powell before you go into
In
Quran? What do
2005.
you think of Enoch Powell and what he said?
I think that Enoch Powell was a well-known politician, like all politicians. There were good things and bad things. But a gentleman here asked about the Quran, and I would like to talk about that very briefly. To answer the gentleman's question, because that's only fair. Okay. So with the Quran, we're not against Muslims in any way, shape or form. It's a bit like me saying I'm against the Labour Party.
Is this
or
a
the
student
Conservative
project?
Party.
Is this a joke?
All right. So what I would say about the Quran is there's certain aspects of the Quran we disagree
Like
with.
the wife
For example,
beating.
in Surah 4, verse
Wife
34,
beating,
that's
if you
Surah
read it
4,
literally.
verse 34,
If you read
it's a
it
direct
literally.
commandment to beat your wife.
Yeah.
Okay?
He said,
How can you?
he said, don't go
If they
to bed with
disagree
her and
with
beat
you,
her up.
It's a direct commandment to beat your wife. And I actually disagree with that. And that's what I'm going to say. That women, females, should not be beaten. I actually think that's fundamentally wrong. And actually, I hope everyone here thinks
Are
exactly
you
the
married?
same.
Are you married?
I don't talk about whether I'm married, whether I'm single.
If you were married,
We're
maybe
not-
you can relate more to that verse.
Ah,
She gets on your bloody nerves.
Are you a wife
You might wanna
beater,
beat
sir?
her.
Are you a wife beater? Do you
well,
beat up your wife?
No, I beat
answer
other
that.
people's
Yeah.
wives.
So, let me answer your question.
Yeah.
In Surah 4, verse 34, it starts by saying, you admonish your wife. In other words, tell her off. I agree with that. Here, I agree with that. And secondly, it says you don't sleep with her. Well, you know, when you've had an argument with your wife, probably the last thing you want to do
You've got a bit of
is go and
Turkish in
sleep with her.
Do you believe the wife?
Have you ever had a bit of
Answering
Turkish?
your question.
Like a bit of a doner
Thirdly,
kebab
it's a
to me,
direct
mate.
commandment to beat your wife. And I'm just saying that women should be respected. And I
There's a lot of beating in the
disagree
BNP, isn't
with
there?
beating.
Yeah, they beat the shit out of
Beating
you
your
if
wife.
Okay, do you believe the wife should obey her husband?
No, we're all
So why don't you
individuals.
bring the Bible up and show
Because I'm
him the
not
verse?
Christian. I'm
Because
an infidel.
But why'd you bring in the
That's it.
I'm a
Quran?
kafir.
Thank you,
I
kafir.
have
What sort
no
of
religious
infidel?
beliefs at all.
Are you a
But I'm
Christian?
not against any religion.
Are you a Christian?
Providing it's I've just answered that.
Carry on,
I've
carry
got
on.
no religion.
Are you deaf?
Right?
Yeah, but why
I
didn't you
did
bring
show
the Bible and show that verse?
Because I'm here to talk about the Quran.
Why? Why pick on the Quran only?
Because it's
there are
very topical.
What I'm saying is there's many holy scriptures where they say a lot of things which you would not agree, but you only picked that one and chose on that point.
I could talk about Hinduism, Buddhism, and if there's any
Can you
Hindus
talk
or
about
Buddhists here,
rheumatism?
I welcome you
fucking
here.
any
It's a
different
great place for speaking, and that's important. So I've answered a lot of your questions. Does anybody else
I
like
think
to
the woman
ask?
should, I think the wife should obey the husband and you should beat her up.
No, I'm not. If you read this,
Paddy
it's not.
O'Connor.
Yeah. No, it's not.
Now here's Jeremy Corbyn. Little licks,
Oh yes, the little.
yeah, he is cracked.
It's the last one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I checked them all out.
No, it's not a commandment. It tells you what to do.
It's a warning.
It's bad thinking that it's bad. It's bad.
You shouldn't beat your wife. That's all I'm saying. I disagree with that.
There are verses in the Bible.
I think
I'm not here to talk about the Bible.
But
you beat your wife.
parallel
Yeah, S&M style.
That's it, bro. Well done.
She's a bit of a dominatrix.
Right,
I allow it.
because for all Muslims here today, the British National Party policy is very clear. We need to bring back all of our troops to Muslim countries. For example, we invaded Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya and Syria. This is the British National
Nick
Party
Griffin go out
policy.
to Serbia
And what we're
or
going
Albania?
to actually say...
What was Nick Griffin
pull all the
doing in
troops back,
Eastern Europe?
Stop upsetting the Muslims
What was Nick
abroad,
Griffin doing in
and
Serbia?
absolutely withdraw those troops, okay, and make sure that they're here just to defend the interests of the United Kingdom. I don't want Muslims in this country upset and frustrated by the fact that the British are actually going into foreign countries, all right? They're going to foreign countries and upsetting those Muslims abroad and in this country. We at the British National Party are against that.
Do you think they should legalise cannabis?
I agree with you, Zayn. If you were Prime Minister, you'd take that ideology back to the country because war creates a profit that the government.
I'm really against that. No, I'm totally and completely against it. More importantly, so is the British National Party. I can only tell you what the policies
Who is
are,
the
and I
leader of
agree
the
with
British
that.
National Party now?
The reason why
Do you remember?
not very well to do with oil and resource.
How
I
many
don't
votes
see
do they
what the
get
reason
barking
is.
and
Britain is
dagging?
interfering. We've got a history of interfering abroad, and it's wrong. Yeah, absolutely. And in Switzerland during World War II, they stayed neutral. And they
Tell us
didn't
about
get
World
much
War
hassle.
II.
So what I would
What were
actually
you
say
doing?
Which side were you on?
you know, is completely wrong.
of a
I've asked.
What was
you
Nick
stupid
Griffin
questions.
doing in Serbia? You were talking about British people
I'm not
interfering
here to talk
abroad.
about Nick Griffin. It's nothing
Well,
to
he
do
is
with
the
British
BNP,
National.
isn't
He's
he?
not.
Well, he
left
was, and he
a long
always will
time
be.
ago. He was a
He
long
always
time
will
ago.
be.
Can you have
it's
a
got nothing
number
to do
with
the
a
party.
foreign
And if you want to
accent?
speak to Nick Griffin, go on Twitter. Excuse
me. Can you have a member
What about
with
Paul
you in
Golding?
your party
What is the name
with
of
a
the
foreign
Paul?
accent like me?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Any black person can join the
black.
British
I
National
am not
Party.
black.
Any Asian person can join the
I
British
am not
National
Asian,
Party.
I'm sorry.
Any ethnic minority
That's
can
it.
join the British
That's it
National
now.
Party.
That's it.
And they're allowed to. In
That's it.
fact, I'll give you an
Point
Point of
example.
information, Mr.
A
Speaker.
few months ago,
What is the
I
current
was
name of the head of the
actually
BNP?
over in Cheshunt in Hertfordshire.
Who is your
The
leader?
guy who I was canvassing with was
Who is
an
the
ethnic
leader?
minority.
Who's the
His father was
leader?
Jamaican,
Who's
his
the
mother
leader
was
of
a
your
white person, I don't know if she's British or European, it's completely irrelevant. And one day, he's very good. I can see him as a future leader of the British National Party. And I'll tell you why, because at the age of 11, and I didn't do this at the age of 11, he went through all the party political manifestos. What he actually thought was he liked the British National Party.
But I will never be a member with your British National Party because I don't believe, as a person, I don't
Why don't you
believe
go back to your own
in
country,
nationalities and
Don't say that. That's
Don't go back to where you came from.
BNP. Naughty boy. Don't say that.
Go back to
what
where
you
you
gotta
came
say.
from.
I don't believe in my
Can
principles
you imagine?
in my life.
Do you throw people
I
out
don't
your
believe
party
in,
that say
well,
that?
I believe in a country.
Do you
but
throw
I don't-
people out
I'm
the
not,
BNP
like,
that tell
what
people
they
to go
say,
home?
Somebody
You won't have
who's
anyone left, will
nationalist.
you?
I don't believe in. You know why? Because I can't. You know. I
Well,
can't.
that's okay.
But you know why people they are national and they believe in
Have you got
nationality?
any Millwall supporters in
Because
your
they are not well
Or
educated
Chelsea.
and because they don't know
Chelsea,
the truth
headhunter.
about themselves. Have you done your DNA?
Walker, so
I could be from anywhere in the world.
I
I could
advise
be
you.
from anywhere
I
in the world.
advise you to do your DNA to know where your roots come from.
And you're going to find your Africa.
Yeah, no.
From Adam and
Big
Eve.
deal. Africa's a lovely country. It's a beautiful country.
Africa is a continent, by the way, but for me,
Why don't you join with the National Front and be done with
we're
it?
all selfish. I don't know your upbringing.
What's the
I
difference
don't know
between BNP and National
your
Front?
education.
Well,
I don't
exactly.
know
What is
what
the
you do for life. But I know you
Very
are like
few
me. You are
numbers
human
apart
like
from
me,
that.
and you and we do speak English because we live in London, and it's good. We live all together here. We are Londoners today.
I
But
agree
when-
100% with you on what you said.
but
If he
okay,
comes
okay.
into power, you'll be
Let's
first
reason.
plane
Let's
to
reason.
That's quite a big if.
You'll be on the first
So
plane to Morocco.
today you are okay. He mentioned Morocco to start with. Okay.
Yeah.
But you mentioned Morocco, yeah?
Yeah.
I am 30% Moroccan. Less.
How can you be
I might
5%?
be
Which
less
the
than
top half or the bottom
30%.
half?
Excuse me,
Less than
who's
thir-
the speaker? Let the man speak.
No, hold on.
must we?
Hold on. He mentioned when you born somewhere, yeah? Okay, but you don't know where your grandparents come, where your grandparents come.
I've got no
You don't-
idea.
Okay, so
No idea at
yeah,
all.
you don't know.
You're
So,
not a bastard, are you?
for someone who knows,
no
for
idea.
example, my ancestry.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay?
All right.
I don't think you'd be canvassing
I end up
for fucking members.
living by
You know
I
that
don't
Pat
know
English
something.
guy?
I'm living in London.
He's BNP.
I could
really?
have stayed in Morocco. I could have
next
immigrated to
question,
Canada. I don't know. Yeah.
moving on.
But anyway, knowing my upbringing, knowing my ancestry, yeah,
Yeah, what?
we're all mixed. We can't
We
deny
are.
that.
So you're
Why
We're not talking about who is
don't
doing
we
your
make-
life,
why
man.
don't you
Speak.
join?
Finish
joined
your
on
point.
wait,
What is the
wait,
BNP policy on immigration?
I've
This
already
British
answered that
national,
one. Let's remove those
this
two
British
again,
national
just to
party,
Josh.
it makes me really.
What is the
Oh,
BNP
okay,
policy on
okay.
immigration?
Can you just finish your speech? What are you? Keep going on. What are you on about? Just carry on.
I'm just here to answer
Carry on.
questions.
BNP, what is your immigration policy? Do you think
Stop 'em all.
people should just come here open borders?
He's saying stop.
No, we're actually saying that we're going to have a temporary freeze, and it's going to be a long temporary.
How long?
Are we going to have
Until
a
the housing
Muslim?
crisis is sorted out.
Are we going to have a Muslim ban?
Muslim.
No.
Why not?
No, because it's freedom of speech. We're in a place,
Yeah.
Speaker's Corner, okay, and providing people practice their religion in a peaceful way, they're entitled to their
Muslims
opinion.
are not peaceful.
Well, many
They
are.
say Allahu
Many
Akbar
Muslims-
and they blow themselves up.
If they are
Many
practicing Muslim,
Muslims
no way.
are peaceful, and it's really important to get that
If
message
they're
across.
practicing
Well, I'm against those
do you
and
have to
any
practice
religion
to be Muslim?
who create violence.
Yeah, but
that
we
is
should
fundamentally
be
flawed.
all-
That is
all
fundamentally
agree.
wrong. And I also
About-
disagree with
No,
much
not
of the
disagree.
contents of the Quran.
Right.
I'm totally against so much of this.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, as freedom, it means they should have the right to say it. They should have the right to believe
You
in
said
it.
you're a non-believer, you're a kafir.
Yeah, but why
I'm
you
an infidel.
kafir?
You're an
But why
infidel.
you-
According to the Quran, you should be killed because you're an infidel. Do you agree with that?
It says it on every
Yeah,
third
it
of
I
says
know
the
it
page.
does.
You read it? Have you read it, Aaron?
I've read it, and
He's
I've
killed loads of
read it,
kafirs.
and I've got it written
And he
down.
beats his wife up. He
Anyway.
killed his wife.
You know about the wife
It's not good.
beating?
Excuse me.
He disagrees to beat your wife, but he doesn't say you can't kill your wife.
Well, they're both bad. It's both wrong. Would anybody else like to
Why
answer
don't you merge with the
I've
National?
answered.
Why don't you merge with the National Front and be done with it?
I don't like
And Britain first. And Britain first.
He's not explaining that it's to do with immigration. Sorry,
Yeah.
A part of the Quran, but do you yourself consider that you know the Quran well enough to make that judgment?
Well, I've read it from start to finish twice. I've visited nearly every single Muslim
that's
country
great,
in
that's
the
great,
world.
that's great. But
So
that's
if
great.
you're asking me if I'm a cleric, no, I'm
No,
not.
I'm asking you to learn
Fight
from
those
you.
who don't believe in
But
Allah.
That's great that you've read the Quran, but do you know? Do you believe that the Quran is to be understood by reading the Quran alone? Do you believe that?
No, I think you have to go and visit those countries as I have done.
No, it's not just
And
the
I'll
country.
give you an example.
Do you know the name of the other text that you have to read
What, the
with
Hadith?
the Quran? Yeah.
No, I disagree with the hadiths. They were written by different people, and they were not the direct commandments of Allah. They're not. They're people's opinions.
Let me tell you something. Do you understand that you have that because of the Hadith, Muslims across the globe are very diverse in how they want to perceive
Well, the Shiites
and
don't believe in the
understand the
Bible.
Quran.
90% of Muslims are Sunni. 90% approximately are Sunni Muslims. When are you going to take believe in the direct interpretation of the Quran? If you're talking about
I'm not a Sunni
countries
and
such
that's not true. I'm not a Sunni and that's
well, I know, but Shia, okay, they have a different idea.
Oh, really? You
They
just
believe in
get a
much
photo
of
of the BNP and
but
the
for
Quran.
example, they have a different view as to which one came first. Yeah.
Who's the leader?
Who is the leader?
Who's the leader of Islam? Ayatollah
That's all the
Khamenei.
argument and the interpretation.
by which prophet
It's
came
USA,
first. The first prophet,
America.
every
He's
Muslim
got a
agrees
good
is Adam.
shot.
I hope so.
What do you mean by
Yeah,
that?
on
yeah.
Twitter.
Back
What do you mean
to
Muslims
where you
don't
were.
agree which prophet came first? No, all Muslims agree that Muhammad was the last
Excuse
prophet,
me.
not the first prophet.
Can it, it's all
Shias
right.
believe in imams,
That
they're not
is
prophets.
Shias and Sunni.
it's
I
you're
go
wasting
by
your
the rule
time, you
book.
know?
Yeah.
And
You have to
in
go
fact,
deep
if I
and
went to
find the
Pakistan,
problem
which
where
is
it's
98% Muslim,
Sunni.
I would be given the death penalties for standing here
think that's
in
good?
this great place. I would be given the death penalty.
You believe the
for
Quran-
just standing
Okay.
up and enjoying
Wait.
the freedom
Yeah, yeah.
of speech.
So you believe
Isn't that terrible?
You believe
That
the
you don't
only
have
thing-
the right to stand up like I am now
one
to
second.
give an opinion.
Do you believe? Sorry, do you actually believe that you'd be killed in Pakistan for saying what you said?
Definitely.
Yeah, if you become a Christian, you
One second.
become
In
a
Saudi
terrorist.
Arabia,
In
they-
Pakistan, they kill you if you
One
become
second.
Christian.
You believe you would be
Who are
killed
you to
because
tell them how to live?
of how they read the Quran?
No, because I disagree with the context.
So you don't think
of
it's
the
related to
Quran.
poverty, ignorance, and things like this? You think Pakistan's the most educated country to interpret the
It's got
Quran
nuclear
and
weapons.
claim
Okay,
that
we'll
they
go
should
to
do it?
Saudi
nuclear
Arabia.
weapons.
In Saudi Arabia,
Saudi Arabia is the
they
worst.
don't have
Saudi Arabia,
something
Saudi
worse
Arabia is a government for ISIS. Saudi Arabia is ISIS.
It's the whole of
Wait,
Islam.
I'm sorry. No, that's not true.
Hezbollah in Lebanon.
Bro, you can say
Wait,
whatever you want.
to speak. Wait, allow this gentleman to
Thank
speak.
you, thank you.
Iran.
So if you look
Iran,
at Saudi
Iran.
Arabia, they behead
Iran.
people just like ISIS do. So I agree with you. Saudi Arabia is a government that represents ISIS, and Saudi Arabia is just a legalized ISIS. Okay, they're a monarchy. They're a monarchy, which is completely wrong. There should be no monarchies in this time and this age. And I'm a Muslim, and I'm telling you this. And that Quran is.
We talk about something else.
If interpreted
I don't often say
and
that.
that's by reading through the hadiths and filtering out the ones that are complete rubbish.
Well,
Are you saying part of the
hang
Quran
on,
is
sir.
rubbish?
Hang on.
No, the Quran is the
what you
most
just
beautiful
said.
book in the
Please,
world.
I would like to
I
talk to
said
this
the hadith.
gentleman. If you go to Saudi Arabia, it is the home of Islam, and I'll tell you why.
No, sorry, listen,
It started-
Mecca does not. Listen, do you know
been
where the
to
name
all
Saudi
Muslim
comes
countries?
from?
Have you
been to Saudi Arabia?
Okay, Saudi comes from the royal
I've been
family
to the
Al
toilets.
Saud. When they in the past 100 years,
Live
when
in
they
the toilet.
occupied this territory with British support and British weaponry, then that's how they came to become Saudi Arabia. And the monarchy there does not represent Muslims, neither do the extreme Salafi clerics of Saudi Arabia represent Muslims. And I, as a Muslim, would put my hand in your hand to fight every extreme form of Islam that would call any British man, because a British man in Islam is taught to me, no matter what his belief is my equal in humanity, if not my brother in Islam.
Can I go back to what you said about Saudi Arabia? 1,400 years ago, there's a place called Jeddah, and about 70 kilometres from Jeddah, there is a place called Mecca. And that is where the Prophet Muhammad went up to the hill and received the direct instructions from Allah, okay, for this book. And remember that in those days, people didn't read, they couldn't write, so the Prophet Muhammad was a smart guy. He had to memorise what Allah told him, because he couldn't read.
Why are you talking about
He couldn't
this?
write, okay?
Why is the
And
BNP
that
discussing
is why this book was
Are
created.
you sure the Prophet couldn't read and
I
write?
that really like
Yes.
Okay, can I tell you something? The hadith, some say he could read and write, and some say he can't. So my point is, why is it that you've taken the stance? Why is it that you've become an expert in Islam and you've taken the stance that the Prophet couldn't read and write? Why didn't you say no, he could read and write?
Because when I've spoken to Muslim
What was the
clerics
research and
in
studies you
Saudi
did to make that?
Arabia, that's what they told me. And I'm more inclined to believe them.
Experts in Saudi Arabia.
Clerics.
Clerics, okay.
Who
So, okay, in
specialise
Saudi Arabia.
in this book.
So, thank you. That's great, that's great. So you're speaking of clerics that are ruled by a monarchy and therefore do not actually have that freedom to say what they want. Those clerics in Saudi Arabia are political clerics who are manipulated. They are puppets of the Saudi royal family. That's the best way to
that's
put it.
the
So you
home
can't,
of
no,
Islam.
and the Saudi royal family benefits of fundamental extremism in Islam, and that's why they twist those clerics to put the jihad and make you a kafir and an infidel and your blood being legitimately spilled. So why is it that Britain's number one ally in the Middle East is Saudi Arabia? I'm against that. I want Britain to be against Saudi Arabia. Let's invade Saudi Arabia and give them democracy.
Is it true that the N
What I would
stands for
say
not?
to you is that this
And then
is
we'll
where
get. You
it
want to
all
fight
started.
terrorism? Fight
This
Saudi
is where it
Arabia.
all started in Saudi Arabia.
Why are you still speaking of fighting terrorism?
Got a foreign
Answer
wasp
me
on you.
why we can't have Islam in Saudi
answer him.
Arabia.
Even the wasp.
Answer me why we can't have Hinduism in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, because
you'll be arrested
it's
by the
because
religious police.
let me explain. Number
I
one,
won't allow you.
let me explain. Actually, it's because of the royal monarchy that our government and the West support them to stay in their position, and because of that monarchy, the way that the people there are educated are to have such a mindset that you do not have freedom of religion, you do not have diversity, and that the sword is the way to rule. So we support that. Our government support that. The people we vote for support that, and then you're blaming educated, hopefully I'm educated, Muslims like me or others, not you, but I mean some people do, to say that we are the reason that Islams don't tolerate other religions. No, we do tolerate other religions. I love everyone here. They're all my brothers and they're all my equals, and I want justice for everyone.
So I'll come over to you, Solly. Why is it that if you're a Muslim and you convert to, say, Hinduism, you get the death penalty?
Okay, by who? By who? In Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia,
Yeah, but I've just
Pakistan.
told you, I as a Muslim and many
I know,
other
but
Muslims
you
will
need
tell
to
you.
tell them that.
No, but
Because you're a
why?
Shiite,
Okay.
What
number
your
one.
mum and dad say if you turn to be
Number one. I tell Saudi Arabia and call them out for their terrorism more than you have, more than any British politician has.
Proud to know that.
And I do that here every time I come.
Thank you for doing that.
1 million Yemenis, so many millions of Yemenis are facing famine. They're starving, they're being killed, bombed all the time because of Saudi Arabia using cluster bombs that the British have sold them, which hurts me. And I believe the British people are better than this. We need to.
The BNP siding with
That's why it's
Islam.
one of our policies. And I'll finish by saying
you
Are you finishing yourself off, mate?
the handshake started in Yemen about 5,000 years ago.
I have to say
Are
to
you
you-
willing to shake my hand even though you disagree?
Yeah.
It's a sign of peace.
But I have
Islam
to
and
say,
fascism
but I
shaking hands once more.
But I have to say that the way I perceive the BNP, if you're representing them with such statements about the Quran, I have to say that you are too uneducated about this book, and yet you've given. I'm sorry, I'm being nice, and yet you've given yourself the confidence to actually come out here and make statements which you are actually wrong about. You're very wrong. You actually,
the Quran wrong?
I'm sorry. You
About
actually
wife
need
beating?
to speak to the peaceful scholars about Islam, learn a bit more about the Quran and why there's extremism. Speak to Muslims who speak against extremism and see where that extremism comes from, because it's not from this holy book. It's not from this holy book. This holy book will tell you, as an example, it'll tell you fight the infidels as an example. But did you know that if you actually studied the context of every ayah, every verse in this book, you will come to learn that those infidels of that time were actually at war with the Prophet, and God commanded him to go to war against them. The Quran doesn't command us. The Quran doesn't command us to fight infidels. It commanded the Prophet to fight infidels at that time who had waged war against the Prophet at that time. And honestly, you're doing us injustice and your party injustice, because people like me can't vote for you now, even though we agree that Saudi Arabia politically is the worst state to exist in this world. Of what, sorry?
Let's talk about Jews. Let's talk about
Listen,
Jews.
I went to university in this country, so you can't tell me I left university without having a few gay friends who I respect, and I believe they should have the right to practice what they want. I am against this new RSC thing in schools, but that's because that's this whole RSC thing in schools. The reason I'm against it is because I believe kids are too young to be taught about partnerships. At that age, you can confuse kids more than teach them.
Islam and BNP.
Thank you very much. I've enjoyed talking.
You are true Englishman. I can tell you are true Englishman.
Who would like to ask?
You are very diplomatic.
Trans, what's your policy on
You're very
trans?
diplomatic.
Are you trans yourself?
I'm not, no. I have no problem with anybody from the LGBT community.
But teaching
They're
kids
very
nasty
welcome to
stuff
join
ain't
the
right.
National Party.
Yeah, but teaching
It's
kids
definitely
is
not
Take
right.
anyone you can, I suppose.
No, teaching
No,
kids
not at
nasty
all.
stuff.
Who would you not
Right,
take?
mate.
Who would you not
Start
take?
this shit, yeah?
Wouldn't take Nazis, they'll get kicked
You wouldn't
out.
take Nazis?
Definitely not.
Like Combat 18?
Mr. British
Definitely
What
not.
about the sexualisation of children, mate? Like Millwall. Don't listen to me, I'm a Millwall fan. I'm a Millwall fan. I'm a Millwall fan.
Oh my God, you are.
I'm a
Anyone
Millwall
like
fan.
that?
I'm a Millwall fan. That's right. I'm from Millwall, that's my area.
Anyone
Mate, let's talk about, don't listen to me, what you trying to shut.
Will you
Talk
allow
about
me to
sexualisation of our children in school, mate. Yeah? The only one political party that has said any truth is you. Mark Collett. Do you know Mark Collett?
He left a long time ago, so I don't
No, he
know
ain't.
him.
He told the truth. He told the truth.
Time
Joseph
ago.
was running away from him.
He left a
All right,
long
that's what you
time
say. He
ago.
tells the truth.
Anti-Semite
Mark
racist.
Collett tells the truth. They
What
run
did you
away from
say?
him.
What
I
did you
can't
say?
I was trying to get the
I
video
don't
up.
know
I was
him.
trying to
I
get
haven't
it
said
up.
anything.
Joseph,
View of
they run away from him. They run away from Joseph.
Yeah, what
Here, I
was
have
it?
one. I was researching a Frankfurt school, right? And in doing so, I come up on one of your guys doing a meeting, and he was talking about 9/11 and conspiracy theories, but it's critical thinking. You're the only party that's mentioned that. Tell us that. Tell us about that 9/11 and what do you believe it was 90 Muslims on a plane or the
I
state
know there
organised
were
it?
19 terrorists on a plane,
Yes.
and that plane definitely went into the Twin Towers.
found their
No ifs or
passports.
buts. Can I now?
Come back to you. You know, you're holding this.
That's not one of your colleagues was saying, mate. I'll get the video up. I'll find it. I'll find it. It's about the
You were
Frankfurt
talking
school.
to this guy.
Yeah.
He's,
You know what I mean?
he's a believer
Don't trust
from
you either, mate.
Shiite.
Get away from me.
Shiite Muslim. Therefore, he's talking from a
Shiite
Shiite point of view. And you can see he's anti-Saudi, and they claim that the Saudis, they don't practice the real Islam. But I want to ask you, and ask the audience here, the people here, who do you think,
like kicking the
let's
shit
use
out
our
of
brain.
They just like
Who do you think is charge of all this religion to still alive today? Who do you think?
Yeah, but why do they always
this
have
religion will die
most
if we start telling people the truth about the history and that it doesn't go exactly nothing to do with this is all man-made.
Yeah.
And who is in charge of this man-made thing? Who is in charge?
I'll tell you what.
The people who they are benefiting, and they are the Western countries and the advanced countries. They want to keep the people.
What's your point,
the rest.
mate?
The point is he's holding this book and he doesn't know who's really in charge of this book, claiming, oh, the Muslim, we can accept Muslim.
Who's in charge?
But
Saudi
moderate
Arabia or
Muslim.
Iran?
No,
Many
people in
countries
charge.
throughout the world.
The people in charge. Number one is USA,
will say
and then
something.
number two is Israel.
Let me.
I go.
That's right.
I tell you this true. And this
I
is the
believe
truth.
very
Find out.
clearly that everyone should actually read this book, because you can't be for or against any subject unless you have some knowledge of that subject. So I would say to anyone, you don't have to buy this book. You can get it in the library or get it sent through the post.
The Muslims will
free
give it
of
to you for
charge.
free.
They will give it to you for free. And if you don't want to read it all, just read 10 or 20 pages.
That's right.
I don't care which
they read
10
the
or
BNP
20
manifesto?
pages you actually. No, this is my opinion.
Yeah.
I would say read 20 pages,
Why are you
and
wearing
then
that?
after
Why are you wearing
that,
a
what
badge
you
that
can
says
actually do.
Because he's BNP, mate.
Yeah, because I'm a member of the
Yeah,
BNP.
exactly.
So do
This
go
isn't
out, get a
BNP
copy of
opinion.
this, free of charge, and reach your own decision on it.
Is this BNP opinion?
Everyone should read it, yeah.
That
Well, you can't say I'm for or against the subject unless you've actually read it.
have you read it?
Yeah, look, that's
From
the one.
start to
Look,
finish twice.
Excuse me,
Yes.
look, I found it. Frankfurt School, New World Order, BNP TV. That's the interview I watched. They're the
Right.
most honest party. Can I shake your hand?
Yes. Pleasure
Most
to meet
honest
you,
party
sir.
when I watched that interview. All the others are liars. Tony Blair's a lying piece of shit. Fact, right or wrong? Exactly. So with this geezer saying that the 9/11 towers was orchestrated by the CIA and the fucking government,
And
blah,
he's a
blah.
war criminal
But they
as
said
well.
that exactly. He's a piece of shit. I just
Can
walked
I
past
take
his
some
ass.
other questions?
But no, we talked about his interviews. It's here.
Right. Well, we actually had
Frankfurt School, New World Order, BNP TV.
we had Jewish in the party.
I want to know more about the truth, mate.
Patricia Richardson was Jewish. I remember going out
Yeah, let's
years
talk about the
ago when we
Zionists.
had a member of the London Assembly, Richard Barnbrook. We were canvassing for him,
Richard
his
Barnbrook
support, and what we actually
Most of
did
them
was
Jewish,
I
mate.
went out with a
Do your
guy who
research.
was half Jewish.
gay, yeah?
He was actually on the he was actually on the member of Barking and Dagenham Council on behalf of the British National Party. So to answer your question, we're not the Labour Party. We don't make snide comments about Jewish people. They're welcome to join our party. It's not a problem. Thank you for not interrupting me for once.
As I said before, you'll take anyone. 'Cause you're desperate for members, aren't you?
Would anybody else like to ask questions about the BNP? No, it's nothing to do with us. No, nothing to do with us, and he wouldn't allow us in his party anyway. We'd be
in the
banned.
early 80s with the BNP.
No, he's had
Who
nothing to do with
is
us.
absolutely, yes, now I'd imagine.
No, he's never had anything
But
to do
he's
with
been
us, Nigel
photographed
Farage.
with you, and I believe he was with you. But
No, he
obviously,
wasn't, no.
you might
In
want to
fact,
deny
I
that
can't join
because
UKIP and
Nigel
I cannot
Farage-
join the Brexit Party.
Yeah.
We support Brexit. We're one of the
wasn't there
original
in the
founders
80s,
of Brexit, no question of that. But he's never got anything to do with the BNP, and if he was here today, he would probably say something along the lines
had a
of
lot to do
he
with the
despises the British
How
National
many
Party.
Jews do you
Yeah, he
think
does.
were
Because
gassed in
now he doesn't look
World
like
War
a
II?
pastel fascist.
I would say it's
Which is what
a minimum of 6 million, possibly a
is.
lot more. I don't know gas. They didn't just gas them. They murdered them. They shot them. They beat them to death. And they starved them
Your
to death.
opinion differs from Nick Griffin's.
Nick Griffin's nothing to do with our party.
Is he still in your party? Mate, this one here.
He's got nothing to do with our party. That's some time ago. And what I would say to you is, if you
Scar
want
squeezer.
his answer, then you must go and speak to the aggressor. Which is nothing to do with our
You say your party is
The Skarsky are mate.
Well, my own opinion is that our policies are neither left nor right. With a sensible party, with a sensible solution.
How about him?
Sorry, I'm pointing at this all the time. I've got nowhere to put it down.
So what do you want to do about immigration policies towards the people who believe in that book?
Well, first of all, our immigration
is Mike
to
Whitby
stop
doing it?
anyone coming in for permanent settlement until such time we sort out the housing crisis. I ask you a question now, okay? How long does it take to cycle on a penny farthing from Land's End to John O'Groats? Give it a guess, how many days or weeks?
Nobody cares. Next question.
No, you don't care, but other people do.
5 weeks, 6 days, 2 hours and 13 minutes.
All right, I would have been inclined to agree with you, but the world record has just been broken. It's actually 4 days and 12 hours. And what I'm saying is, and I mention that because I want to prove to you what a small island we actually live on. It's a very small island, and we can't have more people coming in. Okay, and therefore our policy is sort out the housing crisis.
Okay, so I've got a question for you. Do you not think that if we were able to get all of the money that's been taken out of our economy and held into tax havens by the super rich, then we'd be able to pay for all the housing crisis that we have, all the lack of policing that we have, all the schools? Do you think that would be a good solution?
I think it's
Instead
going to be
of worrying about
many
people
solutions.
who believe in a silly book.
Yeah, but we've got to sort the housing crisis out. And
Yeah,
the only
how do
way
we
to
do
do that, first of all, is to stop more and more people coming in for
But then
permanent
what? Okay,
settlement.
then what?
And then after that, and we're talking a very, very long time, then we can look at it again.
No, but how are you going to solve the housing crisis? You can't just solve it by stopping people coming in.
It's a start.
But then what? That's what I'm asking. Then what?
Well, when we solve the housing crisis.
No. Once you stop people coming in, then what are you going to do?
Well, what I would say to that is we do need to build more houses, but let's sort the problem out with too many people coming in. And then we'll
this
move
is your
on to the
plan.
next
No,
step.
you can't just have a plan of the next step and not think about then what. That's not a good thing. Why are you running for politician or something?
I'm not. I'm just a member of the British
You're just
National
a
Party.
member,
I have no position in any way, shape, or
Do
form.
the BNP know that you're speaking on their
No,
behalf
they
here
don't.
today?
No.
Would
Do
they
you
be
know
happy
this
with you
geezer,
speaking
mate?
on their behalf?
We'll have to ask them that.
You know Nick Whitby?
What I would say to
Why
that is
you
very
answer me?
simply, I can only answer
You're
one question
Freemason,
at
so
a time.
I'll
One
go
moment.
off this guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank
yeah,
you
I'll
very
come
much.
back to you next.
Cheers, bro.
What I would say to you on that is that I've waited a long time to come up to Speaker's Corner. I've never been here before. It's an incredible place because people have the right and freedom to say what they feel. And that's why I'm here. Yes, I am a member of the BNP, but I have no position and no authority to actually speak. Yeah, I'd like to speak. What was your question, sir?
This geezer here, mate.
Do you mind if I just have a glass of water for a minute? You ask a question.
That's so middle class.
Whitby. I watched this video and I was doing some research, and out of all the political parties, it's the only one that I really thought was telling any truth, because they're all lying pieces of shit. You get people like this believing all their fucking lies.
So they're allowed to have their opinions.
Yeah, they're allowed to, but they don't.
No matter how misinformed they are.
They ain't far right, mate. They're nationalist party. They're a nationalist party.
Yeah.
They're not flipping fascists. Nick Whitby. Look, this geezer here. Do you know him? He should get him speaking, because he's the only one that speaks truth.
Who's that?
Him.
I don't know him at all.
Right?
No, I don't.
Get him down there. Talk to him. You've got to talk to. Get him down there, because he talks the truth out of all the parties.
Anyway, nice. Thank you for speaking.
Stealing the British money into tax havens.
What's your problem,
What's
mate?
your policy?
Who else? Say that again so I didn't
What is
hear
your
you.
policy with the rich stealing the British money in tax havens abroad? Would you abolish tax havens? Absolutely.
I think at the moment.
Sorry, John, I'm not speaking to you. Well done, Steve. You're capable of actually some awareness. The question was to you.
Yeah.
Would you mind answering the question or declining to answer the question?
No, I'd like to answer all
Can you
questions.
be a
If I
bit
don't
more
know
boring,
about it,
please?
then obviously I'll say I don't know. And what I would say to
Hang
that
on,
is,
that is. Do you stand
If I
for the
can carry
working
on.
class in
No.
this country?
we stand for everyone.
Yeah.
Right, the working class in this country every day have their money stolen from them into tax havens by the rich. Only the rich have tax havens, of course. It should go without saying, I think. But it's not the working class with tax havens. So therefore, I'd like to hear from you.
Even David Cameron
your opinion regarding tax havens and whether they should be ended or not. Because to stand up for the working class, first thing you have to do is enrich the working class. And you enrich the working class is by making sure that money is not stolen from the working class and taken away to islands and other areas where they are exiled from the laws and the people of any country, but particularly this country. It's an attack on the UK, it's an attack on the working class and the middle class, of course.
In answer to your question, I agree with you totally. If someone's breaking the law,
no, so we need more laws?
Yes.
So we need more tax haven laws?
No, we need to stop people going and taking their money to tax havens. If you live here, you have to pay your tax. And I'll say to anyone here, if you knew someone who's breaking the law, go and report them on the HMRC website.
What policies do you have on your website stating your organisation direct hatred of the rich's abuse of tax havens and the attack on the working class? On your website, yes or no?
I have read it on the website.
Because you can just say anything you want.
No, I haven't seen anything about that on the website.
Steve, you two are obviously the same
people.
Well,
you're the two that are agreeing.
And
he was
like
bashing
Steve,
him earlier.
who I've known for a long time. He just says anything he comes.
Who is this gentleman? I don't know.
He's very similar to you.
Samantha, what TV channel do you represent?
So, saying you don't like.
Right, okay.
Saying you want law is one thing. The proof is what you've written down and published. Where can we find that? Where you're clearly stating right now in front of us your disgust at the rich stealing the working class money, because that would be wonderful to see.
Give him your number. Look.
That would be wonderful to see. Yeah, I think the world's capable of the obvious.
Give him your number so we can spam you.
I'm writing this down because I believe you're right.
Good. Then I'd like to see that. I'd like to see that then as soon as possible. And then later I'll give you my email address. And once that's on your website,
what are you going to give him
I'd be very happy for you to email me once that's on the website. And then we can have another talk.
And the far right coming together.
Content over everything. Doing a great work there. Content over everything, as always. Well done, lads. And everyone part of your team.
We'll talk later. We'll exchange details later, but I just want to take a few more questions.
Thank you very much for your time, sir.
No, thank you for coming along.
Bye-bye.
Who else would like to ask about the policies of the British National Party?
I want to hear about the racists, man.
Yeah. How do you feel about, in order to get immigration properly controlled, how do you feel about instigating the American immigration model? Now, it seems to me that Washington knows the difference between good immigrants and bad immigrants, but Parliament is still struggling over it. So why not? What I would do is actually activate the American immigration model. Because if I want to go to Los Angeles, I have to fill out a 60-page form, and they want to know everything about my ancestors. And, you know, were they communists, or my great-great-grand parents communists and all this?
That's an easy question to answer.
Why don't we instigate that here? Then that would guarantee that we only get the best quality immigrants and none of the crappy unskilled labourers who take out more from the tax system than what they actually put in. Because it has been worked out that you have to be on a salary of at least 50 grand a year to make a proper economic contribution to this country. Otherwise you're just a parasite.
What we need to do is to learn from Australia. Remember, Australia is a country that was built on immigration, okay? But now they're actually saying, look, there's too many people coming in. And
so is America.
And what we have to do is to have a visa form. I'll give you a really good example of what's working well in this country at the moment. I was chatting to a really decent Nigerian doctor who lived in Lagos, and he actually comes over just for the weekend. So he'll leave on the Friday and he'll go back Monday evening. And he comes over purely to actually help as a doctor in our national health system. And he wants to come over but still live in Lagos. And he doesn't want to actually leave Nigeria because he knows there's a lot of Nigerians out there who need his help, his qualifications, his professionalism. But he still comes over, and of course he speaks fluent English, and he's very welcome. And we do need people like that because we've got too many people in the country now. So what we need is actually a visa system so that those we desperately need are welcome, they get looked after well, they're made to feel welcome, but also on a permanent basis they'll be wanting to go back to their own countries when they've earned a lot of money. And without him, we'd be stuck. But we learned from the Australian system, that is, there's a time when you have to say no more. And when that problem is sorted out with the housing crisis, then we can look at it again. But that's going to be a long way off. I'd be surprised if it was in my lifetime.
And look how big America is. And if it's good enough for them, then it should be 100 times better for us, because the taxpayer is not getting value for money from health, housing, education and employment. We're getting less and less and less and less value for money. And it's about time to put up the bloody drawbridge now. Before things get worse.
That's why we have
I'd like to go to Parliament and tell those stupid bastards, what I've just told you, because they don't seem to know it, half of them. The limp-wristed liberals that live in Richmond, they think that it's all roses in the garden. It isn't. It isn't bloody roses in the garden.
I know exactly where you're coming from. I agree
When
with
you
you.
pull up the drawbridge,
So this gentleman here.
When you pull up the drawbridge, how will you persuade Anglo-Saxon people to do jobs that they don't want to do?
Well, I think that's really easy. I'll go back to Australia again. In our country, there's a lot of hard-working people, but there's also a small number of people who are shirkers, quite frankly.
Shirkers?
They don't want to do any work. They just claim they're dull. What we want is to make sure those people who need the benefits, deserve the benefits, that it's channeled to them. The disabled, for example, those people who can't do a day's work. And what I would say to you is in Australia, everyone's guaranteed a job.
No, I don't
because
dispute
one
that.
moment, after 9 months, if you've been claiming benefits, then what you actually need to do is to go out and earn your benefits, and the government will find you a job.
That's fine. I'm saying, like, say, the agricultural industry. You have a section which is filled primarily by non-white Anglo-Saxon people. Now, when you draw the bridge up, who's going to replace those people? How are you going to get white Anglo-Saxon people?
We've got something like 1.3 million people who are unemployed, and they should be left with a choice. If you want your benefits, you should go and earn it, and get paid a bit more so it's worth your time. But if you're saying to me, should we pay benefits to people who can work and won't work, then that is absolutely wrong.
No, I'm not asking about benefits.
To answer someone else in the background, what do I do? Well, I've actually worked for 38 years, 38 and a half years, paying taxes.
But you still haven't addressed the question, though. How do you get Anglo-Saxon people to do those jobs?
You say to them, you've got two choices. You've been given some time to get a job, you can't find a job, we'll find you a job, and then you will have to go to work if you want to get those. Yes. If someone can't work, let's be absolutely clear, all right? Then, you've got to work, earn your day's bread. It's as simple as that.
And kill people in Yemen. Is that a good job to have? What work do you want people to do?
There's a lot of
most
work,
of the work is actually absolutely irrelevant. And you're telling people to go to work, and you're basing everything you say on the fact that they don't work.
I'm saying after
I've
a period
not done a day's
of
work
time,
in the last 50 years. Go on, have a go at me.
I'm not going to have a go at you.
What have you been doing first?
What have I been doing? I've been working for a living.
Yeah, at what?
I've had a number of jobs in my lifetime. My first job was cleaning tables, and I did that for 6 months.
You advertise your latest job.
And then after that, I worked in finance. Are you listening, or don't you want to listen?
Sorry, yeah, go on.
Yeah. So after that, I have actually worked for 38 and a half years. I worked as a lorry driver, HGVs. I've worked a long time. One moment, please. I've worked also in finance as well, in mortgages. I run my own mortgage broking business. And
up against the South Facing Wall.
I love the way the Quran.
Sorry, I'd be very happy to answer any questions.
Did you know Surah, innit? No Surah.
Someone's got Is there anybody else who'd like to ask a question? You again, sir? No, this gentleman.
Do you think it's important? What I'm saying is actually got some meaning behind it. Is it important what sort of work you do?
No, as long as you go and earn a living.
Just as long as you work?
Yes.
Just so long as you work?
Yes.
So that's important working, is it?
Well, yeah, you shouldn't expect to get everything
making
for free.
armaments, that's all right. You're making armaments. If you're
As long as it's
ripping
lawful
people off and
employment,
organising
if it's
mortgages,
lawful employment, then yes. So
yes. So yeah, I've got no time for you.
Well, someone was asking me about Islam
Yeah, that's
and the
BNP
Quran.
Quran. I just don't get the
So what I'm saying
fascination
is,
with the Quran.
earlier, before you arrived, what we're actually saying is we've got no problem with Muslims, but we do have a problem with some of the contents of the Quran. I gave an example of beating your wife, Surah 4, verse 34. There are many other verses that I could read to you. But that's just an example.
the Bible, all of this. I'm just saying,
Well,
what is that got to do with the BNP?
it's got a lot to do because we're very worried about the content. Teaching a child to beat your wife, in my opinion, is wrong.
So there's a lot of things in the Bible and the Torah.
I'm here to talk about the Quran.
Show us where the Quran says teach your wife to beat your child.
All right, if you want.
Go on, thank you.
Yeah, I'll be very happy.
Is this your personal opinion?
It is, yeah. Yeah, it is.
Why does it doesn't represent me in any way at all? Some fools
There we go. Admonish them, tell them off, don't sleep with them, and beat them, and beat them. I repeat, and beat them.
And beat who?
And beat them, your wife.
No, read the whole paragraph. Actually, read the whole page for us.
Oh, we'd be here all day.
I'm serious.
That is not related to that.
I can bring you
I'll tell you what.
I can get you anything from the
For the
Guardian
camera,
that tells you.
There's various lines that are underlined
I can get you anything
Can
from
you
the Guardian
see?
that says kill Syrian children,
I
but
don't like
really
Guardian.
they could be quoting
So,
anything or
for the sake
talking
of
in
the
any
camera,
different context.
You can see certain places are underlined. And what I would say with that is, there's a number of verses that I worry about teaching children. I think it's wrong. So, where was I, the gentleman? Yes, of course.
Do you just believe all people are just equal, baseline equal?
I believe, and this is my belief, that there's human beings, and if we all just looked upon each other as human beings, that's the right way forward. In other words, some human beings are bald, some are fat. I could lose a few pounds. Some people are tall, some people are black, some are white, some are Asian, some are Chinese.
Some are
and
Muslim.
do you know what? If some are Muslims, some are Christian, some are Hindus, some are Sikhs. And what I would say is if we all looked upon it that way, then we wouldn't need a lot of our laws in this country, because I see you as a human being.
Thank you.
I don't see you as a white
you're so
person.
nice.
I don't see that gentleman as a black person. It's human beings. And if we all thought that way, I think the world would be a better place. And if nothing else, if no other message comes out today, that's the way I feel. And I think together we can make the place a much better world.
Why should we join you?
Can I just ask one question, King?
Yeah, sorry, I'm speaking as general.
I mean, I'm trying to truly understand.
Yeah, that's all right.
Why specifically the Quran have you picked out of like so many well texts?
Really good question.
I just want to know, just to understand.
It's mainly because I've been to many Muslim countries on a number of occasions for work reasons. And when I saw, for example, in Saudi Arabia, that you can't even bring a Bible in, because otherwise you'll be sent to prison. When I see, for example, you can't call a teddy bear Muhammad. If I did this over in Pakistan...
Can you take a Bible to Iraq? Can you take a Bible to Iraq? No, because you're basing Islam on Saudi. You're basing Islam on Saudi.
If I went to
Can you take a Bible to Iraq?
Let's
talk about all your experience.
98% Muslim, and I spoke against the content of the Quran, then unfortunately I would
be killed.
I would be killed. Yeah.
So what kind of benefit right now is it like talking about like the miscommunication in the Quran?
Well, my message is go out and get a copy, read it for yourself, then you can decide if you believe what this gentleman is factually correct.
Can I ask what you believe, bro? Because he's pointing at you specifically.
I believe it's sad, because I believe he's more educated and smarter than to be sitting here trying to get at this holy book, yeah? If
it's an important book.
It's holy book, the most important book to me and many other Muslims in this country. And I believe you have a hidden agenda, because you're hitting on this book, yeah, which you know millions of Muslims, or how many other Muslims there are in this country, yeah, believe in this book and they would never abandon it. And yet you're saying you have a problem with this book, you want to run this government somehow, and then how are you going to deal with those Muslims if they're not going to let go of that book? concentration camps like China? Sounds like it, you know. It sounds like it. It sounds like it.
No, that would be very wrong.
How are you going to deal with a million Muslims? Let's say there's a million Muslims in this country. How are you going to deal with them if they don't want to let go of that book?
What I would say to you is,
but they have do you agree some Muslims have the correct and good or peaceful interpretation of the Quran? Do you agree on this or not?
There are many peaceful Muslims. I would say the vast majority.
All right, so you don't believe some.
My message today is to go out and get a copy of this book. That is my message today.
Your message today
read
is,
it.
No, I get it now.
Read it.
I get it
and
now.
then after that, make your own mind up.
I completely get this now. Because you disagree and clearly don't understand this book, neither how this book is supposed to be read, because you can only understand this book when you read the hadith. You're trying to understand it from a Quranist point of view, which is a minority in Islam. So how is it that you're trying to pretend you know this book, and at the same time, the reason you don't like this book, you can point out every fault that, in your opinion, every fault in this book, in your opinion, you can point out in the Bible easily. I've seen things that in the Bible that are just, if you take things out of context, would be just as bad as the way you're doing it to the Quran. So how is it? Why is it the Quran and hold the Bible as well next time you come?
I'm not here to preach the Bible.
No, because this country is a Protestant country, Protestant Christian country. Of course, you're not going to speak against the Bible.
I don't have any
you won't get the votes. You won't get the votes. But Muslims are minority, so you scapegoat us, and that's how you get the votes. Muslims in this country are like me, engineers doing their work, living their life day to day. They love everyone. I'm taught that I'm a very religious Muslim, and at work my colleagues know this, and yet they see me as a friend, and they see me as no threat and no harm. And I've like my parents taught me this book since I was a kid. I'm not saying I'm a scholar. I'm far from that. I'm not even a student.
Me neither.
But I try to be a student. But the thing is how are you going to deal with a million Muslims that aren't going to let go of this book? And how are you going to deal with a million Protestant Christians that also won't let go of this book?
Well, my message today is to go and get a copy of this book.
Yeah.
And go out and read it.
I have one at home.
I'll
I'll give you 4 that I have in my house.
That's good.
That we read every week. Go on.
Yeah, so what I would say is go out, get this book, read it for yourself, or just 20 pages of it and make your own mind up. I'd rather someone read it from start to finish.
Okay, so you disagree with this book?
Yes.
So now you're trying to be in government and you don't want diversity. You're going to force others. How are you trying to preach diversity? How are you trying to preach diversity?
I just have. I said go out and get the book and read it.
How are you trying to preach? How are you trying to preach diversity?
I've said it about 10 times.
I don't want to get emotional. How are you trying to preach diversity at the same time you're standing here offending a million Muslims, telling them I don't like your book? And when I get in government, the book is irrelevant to when you get in government. When you're standing here, of course it's relevant. Because when you're in government, you're clearly going to attack this religion.
I'm doing it.
You're going to attack all the Muslims. You're going to ban us from our religion. You're going to put us concentration camps like that.
You said yourself you're not representing the British National Party. You said that.
No, I'm just a member.
You're just a member. But listen, these are people that were representing your party. Look, these people here. No, I'm talking to him. Look, Frankfurt School, this is a member. Mike Whitby, Northwestern Regional Organiser. This is a member of their party, of his party. Yeah. He's just a member, he is an organiser. Look, he's on the desk talking, right?
What does he say, bro?
He's saying about the Frankfurt School, cultural Marxism, Zionists caused this. Not Muslims, it's Zionists. Talk the truth what your people saying here about Zionism causing it.
Again, someone else
Swerves it. What do you want to say? It's his own people saying it. Look, Mike Whitby, get that, bro. Mike Whitby. That's a member of the party talking. He's just a member. He's actually an organiser.
How about
I'll leave you all that. Start talking the truth,
hear what they have to say,
and
then when you have
that's why I don't listen to politicians. They fuck you all lie.
When you have a problem,
look, Smiley, liar.
I have a sick idea. I invite you to my mosque. I don't even need to invite you. You don't need an invitation to my mosque. My mosque don't discriminate against no one. We're not trying to hide no one.
No, that's fine.
You can go into my mosque, the one that made a veil. Go to my mosque, walk in, sit down, sit from 8 a.m. until they close, which is like 11 or something. Listen to every lecture every day of the year. Just be respectful. That's all I ask of you. And you're gonna see. And you know what as well? Take a microphone with you and record everything that says. You're never gonna see a problem in what we are taught in our mosques. So don't ever try and put us in concentration camps. I'm not saying every mosque. I can speak about my mosque.
Terrible thing.
No, you will. You're trying to run politics based on racism. That's fascism.
Islam is not a race, sir.
Islamophobia. No, you're
Islam
basic.
is not
No,
a
the
race.
only difference is race is a color, but Islam is a religion. But practically, it's the same concept as
No, it's
racism.
not. You get
That is what
English
your party
Muslims,
is based on.
Australian
And clearly,
Muslims,
you're holding a Quran
American
to defame it.
Muslims.
You're trying to say, the
No,
Quran tells you be
I'm
a
here for debate.
You're not a scholar on Islam. You haven't studied it.
How does telling people to read the Quran further your British National Party?
Sorry, I've got to have
You
something.
can't be for or against the subject unless
Sorry?
you can't be for or against the subject unless you've read
I'm
it.
just wondering why you're
I'm
wearing
That's
that.
why.
Very simple subject I would like to ask. Do you believe in an education system?
I believe in education everywhere.
Would
Absolutely.
you believe that the person wants to be a doctor has to go and pick up the book, read it for 5 or 6 years, 6 years later claims that I'm a doctor? Or no, he needs to study under lecturers and the correct teachers in the correct way of the
I
education.
can be a doctor because I'm not up to it. Only a small number
when you
of
want to
people
pick
are
up
up
the
to it.
if I want to read the Bible, if I want to study atheism, if I want to study Buddhism, if I want to study Hinduism or Islam, what I need to do, I need to sit down with the people of the knowledge and learn it in a way that it has to be taught.
Well, I can answer that by saying
If you want to pick it up, the problem in the religion that we've got these days, all over the world, in different type of religion, because people like you and myself, we pick up the book, we read it, and we have our own understanding, like what ISIS does.
Well, what I would say to that is...
I was an atheist, fanatic atheist. You're an atheist, but I was a fanatic atheist 7 years ago.
Yeah.
Some person like yourself suggested me the book.
Well, what I can
read
say to you is...
under the authority of the people of knowledge, and today I'm a Muslim, alhamdulillah.
I'll tell you this, that what I've actually done is to visit most of the major Muslim countries in the world on a number of occasions, and I've read this book twice. And I can only tell you what I found out. And I've also spoken to 2 Muslim clerics in the home of Islam, which is Saudi Arabia. So I formed my opinions.
It's not the home of Islam.
That's where it started.
No,
it started there. Yes, it did.
It doesn't make difference.
Are you saying that Islam didn't start in Saudi Arabia?
Okay,
yes or no?
Christianity started in Israel.
No, but I'm saying.
Christianity
no,
started.
but I'm saying to you, where did it
Can
start?
I tell you one thing? Christianity started in Israel. Would you believe that Jews and the Zionists are representing Christianity?
Well, I'm not
It's
religious.
not based on
I'm an atheist.
So because you're talking about religion, so you have to have a basic
I'm
knowledge
talking about
it.
Islam. I've been to nearly every Muslim country in the world and read this twice.
Give me
I
one
can't do any
example.
more.
Which country you've been, brother?
I've been to Saudi Arabia.
Which town? Which town?
Jeddah and Riyadh. I've been to
stop it in
Pakistan
Jeddah.
on a number of
In Jeddah.
occasions.
Name me one mosque in Jeddah that you've been there and spoken
I
with
haven't
an
been
imam.
to any mosques in Saudi
so how
Arabia.
do you pick up your knowledge?
Because I've spoken to 2 Muslim clerics
How do you
in
know they're
Saudi
Muslims?
Arabia.
Maybe they're
Because they told me,
anti-Muslims.
they said they were
I
clerics.
can tell you I'm an atheist, but I'm a Muslim.
Yeah, I'm an atheist. But I've travelled to nearly every single
Listen,
Muslim country, and
My
if
dear
I
friend,
did this
my
in,
dear friend,
in
if you're
Pakistan,
if
I would
you're-
have given the death penalty.
If you're sincere, you seek the knowledge from the people of knowledge.
I
Any
have,
knowledge,
I
any
have,
knowledge.
and I've worked really hard
If you
at that, I
think
have.
you are the people of knowledge and you think this audience, they're going to listen to you because you are the person of the knowledge and you have no education from no university, you're expecting us to come and listen to you. What's the point?
Is meant to be the absolute
What's
source
the
of
point?
truth.
If
Or
you're
the truth
educated under the authority of any student of around this world, and you have a certificate, then you can talk about that knowledge, and your words are expected, and your words is respected. But you pick up the knowledge that you have no knowledge about.
I do. I've been to nearly every Muslim country in the world.
Oh, come on, brother.
I
Seriously,
have.
are you for
Seriously,
real?
yes.
So if I travel to India, then I become a Hindu expert?
No, but I've travelled to nearly every single Muslim country in the
I
world.
can
I've
guarantee.
spoken to Muslim clerics in the home
I can
of
guarantee
Islam,
you this
which
is your
Saudi
homeland,
Arabia.
and you don't have much knowledge about the Northern Ireland.
And I've read this book twice.
Do you know everything about the Northern Ireland?
No, I don't know much about
But
it.
this
at
is
all.
your brain.
I can't expect to know everything, but there was a gentleman
But you know
who
everything
wanted
about the
to ask
Quran.
me a question.
You don't know about your own
But, I have
country.
a
You know about
question.
the Quran.
Surely the sole
Good luck,
authority
brother.
of
Goodbye.
Islam is directly the Quran. So
Sorry,
you
could you
reading
say
it-
that again? Because I didn't
So
quite
surely
hear
the
what you said.
authority is reading the Quran in itself. It is the primary source material.
Of course it is.
It is. So you
It
don't
is.
need to go anywhere to read.
But I have done.
Which
I
is
have
only just
done.
an extra. but
Yeah,
you
which
need
I
to.
have done.
So his
yeah.
point is not relevant.
And I'd like to emphasise, because you've just joined the group, that I'm not against any Muslim, and I want to make that clear. What I am saying is there's a lot in here that I disagree with.
But you have the right to record it, express it, and look
Absolutely.
at Islam as a culture. I'm a Christian, and this is Christian land.
I'm an atheist, but
You may be
I
an
have no
atheist.
problem with Christianity or any religion.
Absolutely. Yeah. So,
I apologise if I got a bit heated earlier.
No, it was nice to meet you,
Can I just-
and I
can I
thank
just
you
wait-
for asking
Can I
some
just
questions.
clear up what I actually was trying to say on a calmer
Yeah.
scale.
Okay, yeah.
Is that when you're here to speak of politics, but then you're giving your personal opinion on a holy book. It's a bit like you're clearly got some political agenda towards that holy book.
So we do, yeah. That's what I'm saying. He hasn't saying it.
What's wrong with that?
No, he's not interested in national security.
I am. We would ban the burqa. We would ban the burqa.
Okay, thank you. If you actually have national security at your interest. So
I have a lot of things
will you
at my
promise me
interest.
that if I vote for you guys and you win, that you will fight the source of terrorism, which is Saudi Arabia? Or will you still be their friends and sell them weapons?
We are not willing
will you
to
still
go
sell them
into
weapons?
any other country.
Will you still sell them weapons?
We are not allowed.
Will you still sell Saudi
we would
Arabia
not
weapons?
allow any of our soldiers to go into any country, particularly a Muslim country, and fight a war because we're completely against upsetting the Muslims.
But national security, it's not the book, it's Saudi Arabia that's the problem.
You're not going to do any arms sales, no, you're not going to make any money. Like the UK is the largest exporter of arms outside the
We
USA.
are.
To the biggest extremist country, Saudi Arabia.
£4.5 billion worth of arms sales.
We want to pull all of our soldiers out of Muslim countries because we think it's wrong. We think it's wrong. We would bring all our troops back. We did so.
Ban motorcycle helmets. Ban motorcycle helmets. I'm not against the. I'm not a fan of the burqa. But I don't think you should ban it. Who are you to ban it? Let them wear what they want to wear. You want to wear bikini? Wear bikini.
Any country.
You want to wear hijab? Wear hijab.
Our soldiers are there just to protect our country. Sorry,
what if it's going to a bank? What if it's just going to a bank?
It's wrong.
Go into a bank with a burqa.
Take your helmet off. Take your burqa off.
It's wrong.
Muslims take their burqa off for passport photos. They can do the same for a bank. Just like motorcyclists would do.
I would put all our troops back tomorrow morning if I was in power today.
So how are you going to solve the problem of 1 million Muslims that will not leave that Quran in this country?
I don't have a problem with that. All I'm saying is I disagree with the content.
So you're preaching about religion?
No, I'm here to
preach
preach about the British National Party, and I've had to answer and spend a lot of time with you, which I've enjoyed. But I would like to take some other questions from people. Sir, you want to ask?
I want to say, yeah, black.
Can I just have a glass of water while you talk?
I just want to say there's 4,000 religions in this world right now,
Yeah.
Why is it like why do you think it's Islam that you have like a lot of stigma against? Why is it Islam like you have the most problems? It's like there's 4,000.
Vote for Jeremy Corbyn. These people.
Not him, man. He's a clown, man. He's a clown. Jeremy Corbyn's a clown, man. I like him.
Yeah. So
I want to ask you. There's 4,000 religions on this planet right now.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Why is it that Islam's the only religion that you have a lot of stigma against? Because I know about Islam myself.
No, I think the problem is because there's so many problems with terrorism abroad, and it's not just Muslims, but many are actually causing problems like ISIS. I mean, if you remember the 7/7 bombings in the UK, the murder of Rigby, Lee Rigby,
but can I say something? And that's the problem. But can I say something? But you need to understand that there's radicals in all sorts of ideology. Islamists, feminists, white ring, extreme right wing. There's radicals. You can't just like blame and say all radicals are like. I think you're trying to like point a scapegoat like, all radicals are Muslims. There's extremists in all forms of ideology, especially the Islamic ideology. There's a lot. For me, I want to say as well, like there is radicals in Islam. For me, there's like a stigma if you say that you're Islamophobic.
Well, why is there a stigma when Islam, for example, is committing the most terrorist attacks and the majority of victims are Muslims? The majority of victims of Islam are Muslims, and now they're doing the same atrocities here. So why is Islam a stigmatization when it's a characteristic of the phenomenon?
I mean, I will say to answer.
I don't see Buddhists.
To answer.
No, sorry, because today we live in the UK is very liberal. So today it's all about love and acceptance. So it's all about like for me. That's why today that's why for me like we live in a very liberal society now. So that's why.
Is it sustainable?
But that's why today we've allowed all of this like radical Islamists doing all these atrocities in the UK because it's all about love and let's love everyone and all this rubbish.
Are you Muslim, brother?
No, I'm not.
No. I'll give you an example. I mean, it's in the news all the time, whether it be in this country or abroad. But for a number of years, a number of decades, for example, there were Asian and Muslim paedophiles who got away with it simply because of the R word, the racist word. And I'm left in no doubt, in my mind, that the reason why they weren't investigated and they used the most vulnerable people in our society and abused them sexually, and they got away with it for such a long time because they are the racist word. And I want to make it clear, I'm not here to say that all Muslims are paedophile, it's a very small number, but they got away with it for one reason, and that's because of the R word, the racist word. And our previous chairman, Nick Griffin, was put on trial not once and found not guilty, but twice and found not guilty. And all he wanted to do was to expose the fact that there were some Asian and Muslim paedophiles who weren't being dealt with.
Was that 2007?
It was a long time ago.
I'm
not going to put a date on it. It was a long time ago.
Yeah.
But he was. You can Google it.
Yeah,
he was
I know,
actually
I know.
put on trial twice.
Yeah.
And if people had listened to Nick Griffin
Yeah.
at that particular time, these people would have been exposed because there's a lot of paedophiles in the whole of the UK. But they got away with it because the R word, the racist word.
And so, if I may, if you just go back to the 28th or 27th of August in the Daily Mail, a Muslim grooming gang was convicted. They got a cumulative 80 years, and when they left the court, they defiantly shouted Allahu Akbar to the family of the victims.
Yeah.
So you can't claim that Islam is not a part of the problem when the perpetrators post-sentencing are invoking Islam.
Right, yeah.
I think you can't say,
to be honest,
let's not look at Islam.
for me, like that book that you're holding right there, yeah.
Right,
like
yeah.
you need to understand. It's with that Quran. I think with the Quran, yeah, it's a very, how can I say? There's so many interpretations. Like so many people interpret that book. And there's a lot of people that believe that. Like there's a verse in the Quran that says that slaughter the heads of all unbelievers and fight for Allah for all of them. A lot of people. I've seen a lot of people that believe that let's kill the kuffars. Kuffar means Arabic infidels. Let's kill the non-believers. They actually believe that. But some Muslims don't believe. Some beliefs just say, oh, don't worry. It was at the time of Muhammad, when they were at war. There's a lot of
what was applicable 1400 years ago is not applicable today.
Like for example, when Prophet Muhammad, I speak to Muslims, I speak to Muslims like, oh, Prophet Muhammad had sex with a 9-year-old girl called Aisha, and then I was like, she was like, oh, it was normal back then. So you're gonna justify a 52-year-old man having sex with a 9-year-old child?
It's
okay,
shocking.
because you
Absolutely
think,
despicable.
and they say, oh, don't worry, some king married the 12-year-old, so it's okay. So you're gonna say, if I went and killed someone. So it's like for me saying I want to go and kill someone. It's okay because someone else did it as well. So that justifies it. So you're gonna justify having sex with a 9-year-old child, okay, because somebody else also did it. That's what they're trying to say. It's absolutely
Another thing is the big problem. I've been in Hong Kong 2 months, and I spoke to a load of protesters 3 weeks ago. And I spoke to 20 different groups of protesters. And I said to them, your birth rate is 1.2 children per couple. Why don't you have more children? If you care about the future of Hong Kong, at least reproduce. And I think that 1488, that should apply to all races in the world.
I mean,
Not
you talk about
only-
animal rights.
Yeah.
The British National Party is actually totally against halal slaughter.
Yes.
They didn't have electricity going back 1400 years
No.
ago. And what happened then
Yeah.
would be very different to now.
Yeah.
And any animal that is not pre-stunned, and there'll be a lot of vegans
Yeah.
and vegetarians who
Yeah,
say,
yeah.
well, we shouldn't eat animals anyway.
Yeah.
But at least
Yeah.
let's kill them in
Yeah,
a
yeah.
humane way.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm against halal meat. That's why
Yeah.
actually it's a British National Party policy, ban all halal
Yeah,
meat.
yeah, so that's
It's
true,
not
yeah.
just ban the burger.
Yeah.
It's actually ban
Yeah.
halal meat.
Yeah.
We're totally against that.
So
also-
you mentioned 88 notwithstanding.
I mentioned 1488 and the Hong Kong protesters. No one's pointed this out to them. Has to be me point it out to them.
Can I take a question from this lady here? Sorry.
I'm just British Muslim Party, BNP.
No, we're not the Muslim Party. No. I think they're somewhere over there, the Muslim Party, but I might be
The
mistaken.
Darwin team is on the right.
Sorry, I'm just
Sorry, you
joined.
were
I'm just
saying.
joined. I'm just worried.
Sorry, I've got a bad
I'm
leg.
just curious.
Yeah.
Why are you holding the Quran?
What I was saying earlier before you arrived
Yeah.
was that we don't have a problem with Muslims, but we do have a problem with the contents of the Quran.
Really?
Not all of it, but some of it. For example,
Which context?
Surah 4 verse 34, beating your wife. We actually think that's completely wrong. Because in Surah 4 verse 34, it says, first of all, you admonish your wife, in other words, tell her off. And then after, it does, because I've read it. And secondly, it says you don't sleep with her. Well, you've had an argument with your wife. I can understand that on a temporary basis. But then it says beat her, and it's very clear.
Well, where it says beat the. No, that's
Yes, it does.
correct.
It says with a stick, you can beat, you can
No,
tap
you
with
cannot
a stick.
touch. No, you cannot do that.
It's a
No,
direct
because
commandment.
It says actually,
Yeah.
it actually says that.
Let's get the page. Right, can I read it to you so you know? Okay. So, first of all, it says admonish them. Right, I agree with that. Tell her off and say I disagree with you. People have arguments. Then it says leave them alone in their sleeping places. You don't sleep together. You've had an argument. I can understand that. You probably don't want to sleep with your wife until you kiss and make up, which is sometimes the best part of an argument. And then after that, it says beat them. I repeat, beat them. It says it.
Let me teach. Basically, in Islam,
Sleep in
you
this
can
and then
never
beat
raise your
them.
hand on your wife. The Prophet, peace be upon him, if he had an argument with his wife, he would get a leave. That's how gentle he is. He would tap her. He would not hit her.
That is assault. That's assault. That's assault. That's assault. God, it is under law. You've just assaulted this gentleman.
I've assaulted him.
You've assaulted him by doing that. You can't do that under English law. The definition.
I've demonstrated something to you.
I know, but you still assaulted him. You can't do that.
Do you know the word, what it's actually spoken of here? There's a very specific word, isn't there, that's used. And the word, as far as I understand now, I don't speak Arabic, okay? But the word that's used is actually dada.
The need of BNP was in Japan 6
think about
years.
logically.
Stayed in Japan. Oh yeah. When it stayed in Japan.
Out of my bed.
Oh, didn't you know?
I don't know anything about that.
Oh yeah.
I'll be surprised.
3 years ago, he started off his career.
Can I take some more questions, because I'm going in a minute, because I've got things to get on with. I'll take 2 more questions, and then I'm off.
So what are the top 3 things we can do, sir, to reform Islam in the UK?
And I have relatives in
First thing
no
we can
man
do is
has
make
ever
sure
hit,
people
like,
have read it,
That's not
to make sure people are concerned about it, and to talk to people, like in Speaker's Corner, and to share views, and actually preach to people and talk to people in debate. Wonderful places about.
That's what I-
That's what we can actually
I've been talking 37 years in the park. 4 times a year I come here. I've been doing what you say.
This is my first time.
I've been there
Is there anybody, right, that's one
37
question.
years.
Is there anybody else who'd like to ask a question before I go? About the British National Party? Oh, policies, yes, sir.
What should be the state
One
religion?
reason might be that this book was published.
There shouldn't be.
There shouldn't be.
Christians.
And
That's our tradition. I'm actually an atheist, so I don't take any real interest in
Surely, as in
Hinduism or
that, but if
Sikhism.
you're for nationalism, therefore
Yeah.
you need a blue.
There you go. I'm a member of the British National Party. I don't have any religion at all.
I'm a nationalist.
You could be a
I don't know.
Hindu and join
Yeah.
the British National Party.
You
You
could be
can
a
be a
Buddhist.
Jew
Yeah.
and join the British National Party. You can be a Sikh and join the British National Party. There's nothing to stop you joining the British National Party if you're a black person or Asian person or ethnic minority.
Yeah, I accept that.
As far as I'm concerned, all right, it might be traditional to be in a Christian country, but I have no religion. I don't believe in any of it. But I don't have a problem with people who do, as long as it's done in a peaceful way. That's the most important thing. That's a clear message.
Sorry.
Right, I'll take one last question for you, sir.
very
Have I
quickly.
seen you on YouTube?
You might have
speaking?
done, possibly.
I've got a funny feeling I saw you
Maybe,
from about
maybe.
a month ago, because I've never been down here
Okay,
before.
right, yeah.
So, yeah, you're
Well, I was going to say, I'm an atheist as well, but would you maintain at least a sort of cultural element of Christianity, if not a spiritual or moral one? Would you sort of ensure that it was culturally kind of...
My own view
propped up?
is that's up to the church to deal
Okay,
with.
all right.
I'm an atheist, and as long as Christians act in a peaceful way, which I believe they do, it's not a problem. Likewise with Sikhs, Hindus, Jews, Buddhists, I don't have a problem with any of that.
Okay.
As long as it's peaceful.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Right, it's definitely the last question.
Okay, you said you're an atheist, yeah?
Yeah.
So can you prove to us that God doesn't exist?
Doesn't exist.
Doesn't. Well, that's what you believe.
Well, what I would say
so
is,
what proof
I
have you
believe
got?
in Charles Darwin and evolution, and that's my belief. That over a period of time, over millions and millions of years, eventually
You're
the
going
human race
there.
came along.
But you haven't got any proof of a species changing to another species.
Over Charles Darwin, you say that's what happened.
No, there is no proof of that. There's no proof of that. That's why they call it the theory of evolution. There's no proof whatsoever in any museum. No, but you're not proving to me a God does not exist.
We can't have all the religions, there's 4,000 religions.
No one's asking you to believe in anything.
So, in that connection, which one is right?
So it's all theories.
Yeah, they're all theories, and they're welcome to their opinions if they conduct
Can I just give you some advice? It's better to say you're a non-believer than you don't get in these sort of arguments.
I am an unbeliever.
Yeah,
I'm an
just say that.
infidel.
Don't say you're an atheist. It's not a good idea. If you say you're an atheist, you get all these arguments.
Not an agnostic. An agnostic, I don't know.
Yeah,
he's got to say he's a Gnostic. He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
I do know what I believe in. I've just told you.
He's an agnostic atheist.
I'm an atheist.
He's a good man, though. That's all right.
No, well, they're unsure. There might be something. But I'm an atheist. I don't believe in anything.
Anyway, do you believe in Brexit?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
And what do you think happen?
That's open to anyone's interpretation. I'll tell you for why.
What do you think's going to happen?
Parliament, the parliamentarians have let our country down. They stand for democracy, but when we have a vote, they don't go by the majority.
That's
the
right.
majority is 50% plus one.
Yeah.
So that's very clear. Down
What
the
did
road,
they ask you? What did they ask you? What do you think's going to happen?
I've got no idea. No idea at all. We might stay, we might leave. I've got no idea. I thought we were going to be gone in April or March.
Do you reckon there'll be a lot of violence and a lot of massive violence riots if we don't leave?
I believe that violence is wrong. I believe breaking the law is wrong. We need more speakers' corners throughout the whole of the country so everyone can share their views in a peaceful way.
Ken Whitby representing the BNP. Ken Whitby, get him down here.
I don't know him. Ladies and gentlemen, I've really enjoyed speaking, talking, and debating. I will come back.
Come back.
Well, I will be back.
Don't tell people when you're coming.
Whether we remain or not,
Don't tell people
whether
when
we
you're
remain
coming.
or not, don't you think we will be controlled by the banks anyway?
No. If we have true democracy and those people in Parliament who have let us down by not encouraging and allowing democracy, I believe that what we can actually do is to ensure, to absolutely ensure
Ken Whitby,
that
BNP
we stop
representing
that.
for the North West.
There's
Can you
only
sign this,
democracy.
Stop what?
Get this in there.
Banks controlling, dictating.
What's up with the truth,
Yeah.
bro?
Democracy. People
No, we want
complaining and
truth and
speaking out.
democracy.
It does take time. The trouble
They're
with
all
democracy,
fucking liars. Why are they
the
all
problem with
lying?
democracy, it
Politician
takes a long
people,
time. With the
It
original
needs to be a
Brexit
politician,
Party,
mate. Get
and
Ken
we
Whitby
started
down
on
here,
the
he tells
7th
the
of
truth.
April
Ken
in
Whitby, the BNP
1982,
representing for the North
and we
West.
were one of the original Brexit parties. And we've been on and on and on about this.
Listen, mate.
And we're
Ken Whitby,
close to
he's
it.
another representative
Maybe
for his
we're
party.
not. We'll have to
He
wait and
represents
see.
his party, but he don't want to talk about the
Right,
same stuff he's
I've
done.
enjoyed
He's
talking to all of you.
Right,
Ralph,
I
nice to see
recently
you.
addressed a
Is he
BNP local
talking the
meeting.
truth?
sir.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and
Oh.
more
Is Ken
voices here
Whitby-
every Sunday, sir.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
I'd love to come to one
absolutely.
of your meetings. It would be really nice.
Is Ken Whitby speaking the truth, yes or no?
I don't know, because I haven't heard what he said.
That's a good
Watch
answer.
the video, we'll come back next week. Look,
I don't
That's
know
a
him,
good
actually.
answer.
I don't know him.
well, watch, he's a member of your party, mate. You're representing you.
Well, I don't know the guy, so I can't answer it.
Watch it, you're going to
I'm
watch
down
it,
in
come
the
back.
southeast.
Well, he's the
Where's he
Northwest
from?
representative.
If you
I
did
don't
know
go
him-
Northwest.
Well, you should do. It's representing the British
If
National
you did
Party.
know
It's
him,
the
would he be
British
saying the
National
truth or
Party.
not?
Top to
I
bottom.
don't know, because I'd have to listen to the
What's the south and the
totality of what
north?
he
It's the old
said.
nation, innit? The
I
British
used to
National
go
Party, mate.
canvassing with Tony
See,
Lecombe.
politicians don't
Don't
go
know.
I don't know. This is 20 years ago.
One thing came down again, if we can speak about immigration, the great replacement, and what we do for 2050.
Yes.
Population demographics.
Come on, man.
Speak about interesting things at the 14 words. If we want to do that.
1488 to China and Hong Kong. There we are as well.
Good man, you're a good man.
1488.
Thank you
Yeah,
for
very
asking
good.
the
Very
question.
good.
And you handled it just right.
It's my first time.
You come across sincere,
Yeah.
and you're handling it all right with all these hecklers,
Yeah.
because they can get you off track.
Yeah,
and
that's
wind you
right.
up.
Stick to what you're
Who was
right.
that?
Not that I'm agreeing on anything, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, very good, very good.
So, you become the first, you guys, because I haven't done it.
Come take away everything from your humility.
Come, man, say it straight. Man, don't listen to BBC. Man, don't listen to ITV.
Muhammad had a sex. Can I have one myself? You might not have clean fingers. Yes. Turn your camera around. Advocacy. Turn around. Turn it around.
Come and hand them out, Ali.
Turn it around to him. This guy, we got 2 videos on the man. One of them was he said he went to Boots and he accidentally bumped into Andy Childress. Yeah? Accidentally started giving out ISIS